Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, simply enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard, everyone. Tonight is Thursday, February 5th, 2026, and this is live show 1284. 456. There we go. If you're not overly familiar with the show, let me point out it's super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop role-playing game news. And then normally we will take a first look at a role-playing game release. Every once in a while, we might dig on into a board game, or I might tackle a topic related to our hobby, or maybe even just do an AMA. 95% of the time, we are taking a look at a role-playing game release, and that is going to be the case tonight because we are going to take a peek inside the Bree-YARC Quickstart Guide from Third Kingdom Games. My understanding is this is a mashup of Basic Expert D&D and 3rd Edition D&D. Little chocolate and peanut butter. I wonder how it's going to work. Wonder how it's going to work out. So we're going to dive on in. We're going to take a peek at this tonight. I am very curious about what we're going to find inside. Now, of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel here on YouTube, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on YouTube, such as reviews from my correspondent, Sammy Uhas. Mainly, they tend to be Paizo Inc. reviews, but every once in a while, she'll review some other stuff too. Can't find that here. Just me and my mug. That's about it. Every once in a while, we might have an interview guest, but anyway. So be sure to visit thegaminggang.com. Come on. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Then, of course, because this is a live stream, that means there is chat available. Now, you have to be a subscriber to the channel for at least an hour before you can take part. So if you check off that box and you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my absolute best to respond. First out the gate tonight is Semper Buffo. The madman is with us. He is one of our chat moderators. ICW Forge has popped in, as has Cthulhu, and we might be in luck and have our other chat modifier. Other chat moderator. See, my brain's already like into this. Oh, yeah, what kind of modifiers are we looking at? We might have our other chat moderator hanging with us tonight, the lovely and talented Miss Sarah D, maybe lurking in the shadows. So hello to her if she happens to be with us tonight. Yep. It is Thursday evening. The Olympics are about to begin. Lindsey Vonn blew out her knee and she's still going to compete. Oh, no. I don't know about that one. Can't tell you. Anyway. Hey, well, hockey will be on a break for a while. So I think, yeah, tonight's the last night of NHL games for a while. So there's that. Kathy Evans is popping on in, as well as retired on a bike. who I believe this might be a first-time visit with us live in chat. So welcome aboard. All right, let's jump on into the news because the latest adventure supplement is available for Deadlands. Here's the skinny on Carnage in the Cascades from Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Welcome to the Weird Wild West. The year is 1884. Folks from all over the world journey to the American frontier in search of opportunity, freedom, and wide open spaces. But danger awaits. Some say there are more than just wild creatures on those lonely trails. Some say there are monsters, creatures born of the darkest fears, given life by some insidious and overwhelming evil. Out here, night seems a little darker, the distance between towns a little farther, and something changes the very landscape itself. Come on, it's Deadlands. Everybody knows what's going on. The Carnage in the Cascades box set and campaign explores the nightmares stalking Seattle and the horrors brewing in the snowy mountains nearby. Yeah, I drove through those snowy mountains quite a few times. The Twilight Legion needs heroes to test a device that measures fear, the phobometer. The whole Pacific Northwest is close to becoming a deadland, and only the posse has the grit to stop it from happening. Carnage in the Cascades provides more monsters, pawns, maps, and a passel of props to help bring the game to life. Paired with the abominable Northwest, your Weird West just got a whole lot bigger. In Deadlands Carnage in the Cascades, Dr. Elisa Crow asked the party to help her test out a new invention for the U.S. agency, a phobometer that can measure an area's fear level. Things don't go exactly as planned, but this awesome prop with adjustable slider is included in the box set, and once your player characters master its creepy ways, it will tell your posse what kind of trouble they're getting into as they explore the Weird West. This box set with PDF carries an MSRP of $39.99. It is available now. It is out in stores. If you want to grab just the PDF, that's been out for a bit. It's been out for a few months. You can go snag that over at TTRPG for $19.99. And I'm sure this is something that the madman knows all about. In fact, he just asked, gee, I wonder who has the Carnage in the Cascades box set. I wonder. Could it be someone who lives up in Michigan who's watching live right now? J-Man 1911 and Mark Edwards are both with us in chat tonight. Welcome aboard. I had a feeling chat was going to be kind of quiet this evening, but so far, we got a pretty decent chat rocking and rolling. Moving right along. The first adventure campaign has landed for the Vileborn role-playing game from Horrible Guild. Here's the lowdown on Apocrypha, a forgotten secret. The past returns to claim the present. Following the trail of a disgraced warden, the Vileborn are drawn into a relentless hunt, caught between conspiracies, forbidden truths, and a relic that could banish the darkness or doom Egas forever. Forever. The 3 acts. The Vileborn will experience a unique adventure from training within the Order of Dusk to a perilous journey across the Empire, culminating in an epic confrontation and a choice that will shape the fate of Egas. This book contains 140 full-color pages, richly illustrated, 12 interconnected adventures divided into 3 acts, new challenges, characters, and setting elements, as well as insights into key themes and lore of Vileborn. The 146-page hardcover with PDF can be pre-ordered for $30. I believe it's supposed to arrive next month. This as well as the core book, as far as I understand. And weirdly enough, only place I've seen that you can actually order it here in the United States is from Horrible Guild, and it might be coming from a location here in the United States. That's pretty wild because, as we talked about last night, Horrible Guild is out of Italy. Kind of cool. Now, if you just want to grab the PDF alone, you can certainly do that. You can get it right now over at Drive-Thru. Well, okay, I take that back. Maybe not over at Drive-Thru RPG right this minute, but you can get it from Horrible Guild for $17. The reason why I said maybe not Drive-Thru RPG is because just like the core book, they've got the wrong pricing on their PDF. So the PDF pricing for the core book says $45, which is the price of the actual physical book, the MSRP. And it's, what was it, $27.99 or something like that? If you get it from Horrible Guild, just like this, Drive-Thru RPG is indicating that this PDF is $30. Now, when you can get it for $17 over at Horrible Guild, it ain't. I'm hoping they're going to fix that. Although it's been an entire day with the wrong pricing. So I don't know. Do not know. All right. Moving right along. There is a new bundle of holding, which has dropped. It features role-playing game releases from Human Gorilla Creations. I've got the deets on the deal. Game Master. This all-new Human Gorilla Heists bundle presents PDFs from, well, you guessed it, Human Gorilla Creations that help you create tabletop fantasy role-playing adventures of thieves and thievery. Whether your players are contract burglars plundering in Arkenstone, young barbarians scaling the Tower of the Elephant, or swordsmen dodging cultists in Lankmar, use these system-neutral tools to generate clients, targets, and loot. The stage, the catch, the hitch, devious rivals, clever escapes, cool payouts, and the final inevitable double cross. With these source books, treatises, and ready-to-play adventures, you can run your own gritty World of Thieves swords and sorcery campaign in any fantasy role-playing game, from 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons to Blades in the Dark. Purloin a dwarven necklace from a swindler who has diplomatic immunity. I've got diplomatic immunity! It's a kind of a deep cut. Wonder who's going to remember that line. Infiltrate Bramblewood Cemetery to find the Weir Rat King's skeleton key. Make 12 casks of seasonal Direbrow disappear during the market auction at Direwood Farm Brewery. Play out the Italian Job in Westeros. Leverage with liches or Mission Impossible. But you're all kobolds. It'll all go without a hitch. I doubt. Has a human gorilla ever steered you wrong? Well, honestly, they've never steered me anywhere. For just $9.95, you'll get all 8 titles in the Gorilla Heist Collection, which has a retail value of $59 as DRM-free PDFs, including Ogre's 11, 13 system-neutral audacious heists, along with its colorful mini supplement, Gobshite, Tools of the Trade, the Unusual Suspects Omnibus, debuting in this offer, actually, and 4 48-page issues of Polite Society, the zine for thieves, scoundrels, and ne'er-do-wells. This is a really quick bundle offer. It's only a week because these savings will run only through February 11th. Well, and I did some double checking because some of these images looked as if it was possible they were AI generated. Not all of them, but some of these covers. So I went and took a peek, and on Drive-Thru RPG for these releases from Human Gorilla Creations, they either indicated that there had been no AI or they didn't mention if there was AI or not. So I did take a peek at one of the images, which I thought was maybe an AI image. It is not. It's actually some stock art that is used for some other, drive-through RPG releases. So there is that. Tessie Trekkie is with us as a human gorilla steered them wrong. Their first wife. Ba-dum-bum. And I see that we've got Kevin King hanging with the gang this evening. Welcome aboard. On to our next news piece. It's Handiwork Games has released the second edition of Hot War. Here's the scoop. London, winter, 1963. It's a year since the Cold War went hot. This is not just a nuclear war, as darker weapons with their roots in World War II's suffering and fringe science were deployed. Survival and rebuilding are all that matter now. But human nature and the breakdown of society mean that everyone has their own ambitions. Into this maelstrom steps a motley band of women and men tasked with the jobs too dirty or dangerous for anyone else. They have to deal with relationships, loves, hatred, and hidden agendas in a collapsing, ravaged, horror-strewn Britain. Revised and reimagined from the first edition, which appeared in 2008, Hot War keeps everything great about this critically acclaimed RPG while bringing fresh ideas to the text and the mechanics. When conflicts arise in the game, players create pools of 10-sided dice from attributes, traits, tools, hidden agendas, and relationships. Control, the game master. Oh, you mean like in Get Smart? No. Assembles a pool of dice from various thematic groups. External enemies, internal enemies, monsters, London, and breakdown to provide opposition. Control and the players roll their dice, and for each die that's higher than an opposing die, that side gains one success. The side with the most successes wins and can spend those successes to generate consequences that alter the characters, the story, and Control's dice groups. Players in Control will constantly be making taut, meaningful, and challenging decisions with their dice as the game progresses and tension rises. The game mechanics reinforce the key themes of the setting. In Hot War, the nuclear destruction of society is ever present in the form of breakdown, and Control can use this to make the characters' lives increasingly difficult. The 208-page hardcover with PDF can be pre-ordered for $45.26. At least that's the exchange rate at the moment. Or you can grab the PDF right now over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. Got to be honest, I wish that Handiwork Games had actually gotten into a little more of the setting itself as opposed to focusing on the mechanics. It's sort of presented as if, oh, well, you probably already know Hot War from the first edition. It's like, no, actually, I don't. But I got to say, the layout of this looks pretty cool. Artwork looks very nice. I know John Hodgson, who used to be, this is a while ago, but he was with Cubicle 7 Games, is one of the masterminds behind Handiwork Games. So you figure artwork and layout should look pretty cool. Something else I should mention, there's also Cold War, which is also from Handiwork Games, and it is like 1950s Berlin during the Cold War, but it's got some monstrous elements there as well. And both of these games are available together in a slipcase set, but I don't know if they're specifically tied together. That's the weird thing. I mean, their covers are similar in style. Kind of curious. But I mean, I'll be very honest. Out of the two games, it's Hot War that kind of caught my attention more so than Cold War. All right, our final news piece. Mythic Magazine Volume 62 is now out in PDF. And here's the lowdown from Word Mill Games. Greetings and welcome to Mythic Magazine 62. This issue transforms Mythic into a map maker and cooks up new event crafter lists. Mythic Maps looks at how we can use Mythic's usual tools to randomly build maps. That's right, no special tables. Well, there is an elements meaning table, but it's not that special. Just play Mythic following the regular rules, but make a map instead of an adventure. It's maptastic. In Event Crafter Collection, you'll meet a trio of events, including Fantasy Treasure, Mercenary Missions, and Quest Waypoints. The Event Crafter takes an event theme, such as finding treasure, and turns it into an event that evolves over time. That's how you go from discovering treasure like loose change in a skeleton's pockets to locating a dragon's hoard. Happy map venturing! This 54-page PDF is available over at DriveThruRPG for $4.95. Good deal. Very nice. If you're not overly familiar with Mythic, it is solitaire role-playing. So it is a rule system for playing fantasy role-playing games, solitaire. If I remember correctly, it's I think it's actually system agnostic as far as like using like D&D or Pathfinder or whatever. I think you can kind of just about use any fantasy role-playing like adventures and stuff like that with it. Yes, WForge got the reference there. Very nice. Very nice. All righty. So that is the news for tonight. Of course, I mentioned DriveThruRPG a few times. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to go drive over to DriveThruRPG or wander on over to Storyteller's Vault or pop on into Dungeon Masters Guild or War Game Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banners. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And of course, if you like the video, by all means, give it a quick thumbs up. If you like the video, if you dig the channel, if you find the Gaming Gang to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, there are a couple of other ways that you can support the outlet. First, by making a one-time donation by way of PayPal. Hell, you can buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Or you can become a monthly member of our Patreon. You will find links in the show notes. Also, down in those show notes, you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server. Absolutely free to sign up. So be sure to come hang with the gang over on Discord. And of course, during the live shows, I always like to give a shout out of thanks to our Patreon members. So big tip of the cap to Adrian Carpio, Kuval, Kevin R. Smith, Talzek, Sean O'Donnell, Herman Lutman, Gustavo Covalho, Matt Weiss, Kevin King, Game Cat, RPG Munch, Tier 2 DM, Pete Strakulich, Dan Webb, Tessie Trekkie, Agile Monk, and the Madman. It is very much appreciated. Thank you kindly. All right. So we rocked on through the news pretty quickly. Yes. So I should point out that the PDF for this is 95 cents, but if you look in the show notes, there is a special discount link so you can get the PDF free because it is a quick start. There's a reason why it's 95 cents. And that's because I guess they have to charge something for a PDF if they want to be able to utilize the offset printing. I guess that's how it works with DriveThruRPG. So they have to offer the PDF at a price, but then there's a discount link so you can get the PDF for free. So since the PDF is free, we're actually going to take a little deeper dive into this than we normally would with our first looks because it's free. It's not as if, Third Kingdom Games is like, no, Jeff, don't let them see it. Right? We're our lawyers. We got to get that cease and desist letter out. We got to get that takedown notice for that video. Nope, don't have to worry about that at all. So we are going to be diving on in and taking a look at Bree-YARC in just a few moments. Just a few moments. But as far as what's cooking, I did get a bunch of stuff from Paizo today. So I got the February releases from Paizo Inc. So I want to say on Tuesday's show next week, we're going to dive on in and we will do a Paizo preview. Usually when I do a Paizo preview, I don't do a news portion of the show, but I think I still will. I think I still will do a news portion, although there's a good amount for us to take a peek at, including the special revised edition of the Dark Archive. So, and in fact, I got the sketch cover version. They sent me the sketch cover for that instead of just a regular cover. So that is part of the remastered line for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So we've got that. We've got Season of Ghosts, which is now collected in one volume. So we'll take a peek at that, even though I have reviewed all 4 of the adventures that were part of it. So we'll just take a peek in. I'm sure some stuff has been revised in that as well. We also got a couple of boxes of, one is a box of tokens. So that is for the Alien Core for Starfinder 2nd Edition. And then I also got the pocket edition of the Alien Core, which is weird. I never get the pocket editions of stuff. I get the regular book, right? So we already reviewed the Alien Core. I've shared a first look video for the Starfinder 2nd Edition Alien Core. So I got a pocket edition of it. I might put it up for grabs. Don't know. You'll have to tune in on Tuesday's show. And then we have the Battle Cry pawns. So we've got a token set and we've got a pawn set. So some cool stuff for us to take a peek at on Tuesday. As I had mentioned earlier in the week, there were things that are supposed to be in transit. That was one of the packages. So that did arrive. All right. So as I had mentioned, we're going to dive on in. We're going to take a look at Bree-YARC in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
We are about to witness the takeoff of the first manned rocket to outer space. We pick up the count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We're off to visit the planets. There are treats galore in the stars. Venus is loaded with candy, and ice cream is found upon Mars. The soda pump's fizzing on Saturn. When you're thirsty, it sure hits the spot. And Jupiter's really jumping with popcorn that's buttered and hot. But the best of them all is the planet where all of these treats are at hand. And that is the spot we now head for, our theater refreshment stand.
Who's the McFunniest hamburger clown? Who knows where good food can be found? Hamburger shakes and fries, filet of fish and apple pies. Ronald McDonald.
Now you can get Valentines at participating McDonald's. One from Ronald for you and 5 others you can send to your friends.
Sending one to Mark, huh? I am not.
Need any help?
Getting Valentine stuff for my girlfriend.
How many you got?
3.
How about Whitman's chocolates?
Jenny loves candy.
People's Drug has a great buy on Whitman samplers.
How much?
Just $3.69 for a 1-pound box.
Okay, but how about Alice?
How about a cute plush animal?
Yeah, but Marie likes perfume stuff.
Here you go.
Gee, thanks for your help.
Oh, thank you. 3? People's Drug, the convenience you want.
The savings you deserve.
At the dawn of time, in a world of savage splendor, a tyrant of darkness ravaged the land and captured 2 defenseless children. Raised as slaves, trained as gladiators. Only together could they defeat the evil warlord. They were rogues.
Look at the size of you two.
Adventurers. Heroes. They were the barbarians.
After them, I want their head!
Fight or run? Run.
The internationally renowned bad boys of bodybuilding, Peter and David Paul.
Get out of here, he's mine. No, get out. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Go ahead.
The barbarians. Feel the power.
Mom, I want a Conan. We've got 2 Conans at home. Although I will say, the cinematography for that movie looks a lot better than a whole hell of a lot of those sword and sorcery movies that came out around the same time. So, I got to be honest, I've never seen that movie. Never seen The Barbarians. Keith Lewis says those 2 look like members of Man of War. DB is with us in chat. Welcome. So I did. Oh, and I see Sarah D is chiming in. Good to see you. I was going to say, I think it was W Forge was asking, they were kind of curious how Wizards of the Coast and Paizo are doing. So, you know, how D&D is doing, how Pathfinder and Starfinder are doing. Because I guess they're really only hearing about like Shadow Dark and other OSR games. I don't know where you hang out, W Forge, but Shadow Dark and OSR games, as far as the like mainstream, I guess we'll say, gaming media, like there's such a thing, right? But they don't really exist. I mean, that's the reality of it. You'll see, you know, some of the websites out there, it's just all D&D stuff. Every once in a while, they might throw a bone to like Chaosium Inc. Paizo Inc. usually gets a little bit of coverage, but it's like all D&D. So I think they're doing fine. In fact, our friend Stephen Glicker from Roll for Combat, was it yesterday? Had a stream. See, this is, you know, and I'm friends with Stephen, but I just, clickbait drives me nuts. And the dungeon tubers with their cycle of D&D, oh, D&D's dead. Oh, why D&D's dying? Oh, here's the latest game. draw steel that's going to knock D&D off its perch. And then it's like, oh, D&D's making a comeback. Oh, D&D is king. It's just a cycle they all go through. So the title was something along the lines, will Dungeons and Dragons be the first billion-dollar game property? Something like that was the question. So, what was it? 2 weeks ago, Steven had a show where it's like, why D&D is done or something. It's like, and it's all because people know. Now, granted, they're not getting the views that they used to get with that kind of stuff, but they know people are going to show up. They're going to be like, oh, hey, Dungeons and Dragons. We play Dungeons and Dragons. What's going on with that? What do you mean it's dead? They're fine. That's it. Trekkie pointed out that Wizards and Paizo are doing okay. WotC has some issues with Magic, though. Yes. That is certainly true. I don't really cover Magic. I like Magic. I think for a game that's now going on, 30 years? About 30 years or so? Game holds up. Now, granted, I haven't played like Commander and stuff like that. I mean, I pretty much try to stick to just standard Magic. I don't pick up in fact, I haven't picked up new cards in years. But, like secret layer drops and things like that. But for the most part, for a game that's, nearing 30 years old, I think it holds up very, very nicely. I enjoy playing it. Granted, I'm playing old Magic. So, half my cards probably aren't even legal anymore in a tournament, but still, I don't really play that often. But yeah, I think Dungeons and Dragons is doing fine. It's doing A-okay. Pathfinder's doing A-okay. I think Chaosium Inc. is doing pretty well, far better than they were, 8-9 years ago. I mean, that's for certain. But they're celebrating their 50th anniversary as well. DB says her 20-year-old son and his friends just gotten back into Magic in a big way. Last time they had played, they were 10. That's pretty wild. I always got a kick out of when the company that does Pokemon would reach out to see if I wanted to review some stuff. And I was like, I have nothing against your game. It's just, no. I mean, it's not my crowd. So, anywho. So tonight we are going to be diving on in and taking a look at the Bree-YARC Quickstart Guide from Third Kingdom Games. You probably know Third Kingdom Games by way of Todd Lebeck and the Populated Hexes Monthly series. Third Kingdom Games is also part of, I think, Saber Cards and Games is the website. So it's like a game store. So kind of cool. Kind of cool. W. Ford says they've heard rumors of Wizards of the Coast already developing a 6th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. That has been in the winds for about a year now. In fact, it was all, from what I know, and it's not like I have any secret knowledge, but things I've parsed together. And I kind of got this impression when we were at the press gathering at last year's Gen Con was that 5.5 was not going to be a thing for very long, that they were going to, be moving along. So Pete Strakowicz is with us saying that they're prepping for Stennard tonight. But you know how many peasants take a dirt nap? How many peasants end up buying the farm, eh? All right, so the 48-page softcover we're going to take a peek at with PDF can be had over at DriveThruRPG for $12.95. This is the offset version. Now, there is a standard softcover for $10.95. Now, as I had pointed out before, the PDF does show a price of 95 cents, but there is a special discount code. That discount code's going to be, well, it's in there now. It's in the show notes right now. And if you happen to visit thegaminggang.com, you'll see a post for this show like I do for every episode and all my videos. And that has links to the companies I talk about. That will also have the link for the special discount code, which will allow you to get this in PDF absolutely free. So should point out that the fine folks over at Third Kingdom Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this first look with you. It's important you know that, believe it or not, that no one has slipped me anything under the table, or anyone else that I know, something under the table for me to share something or talk nicely about it. I'm a bastard to everybody, regardless. Anyway, something else to point out, we're not going to look at each and every page, but we are going to actually take a little bit of a deeper dive into this because the PDF is free anyway. So this information is out there. It doesn't cost you anything, so I don't have to worry about the Pinkertons coming and knocking on my door or anything, or getting any takedown notices from YouTube. So there is that. Nice. All right, so let's take a peek at the back here. Bree-YARC is a game of fantasy role-playing that blends old-school mechanics with new-school sensibilities, providing plenty of character options while retaining the simplicity of old-school play. It mechanically encourages exploration and downtime activities, as well as troop-style character tree that allows for play at all levels of power. This quick start guide provides the basic rules of play, as well as levels 1 through 4 of the 4 core classes: Cleric, Fighter, Magic User, and Thief. Should also mention that Drive-Thru RPG has other classes for Bree-YARC. I saw there's the Bard. I think there's a Sorcerer. They're all free. The PDFs are free, so you can get those as well. I think this is kind of a play test also. So because this is a quick start, I think this is in, I don't want to say the early stages of design, but I don't think this is a complete finished product just yet. All right, so let's take a peek here with the basics. Bree-YARC is a game built on a popular set of mechanics in the world of retro clones, known as BX or Basic Expert. This game takes the rule set, mashes it together with rules and concepts from the 3rd edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. What could that possibly be, everyone? Shadow Dark. As well as some ideas taken from other places. So the YARC part stands for yet another retro clone that I already knew. This style of rules is designed to encourage a very specific play style, one of exploration, of experiencing a living world of wonder and mystery. The mechanics encourage exploration and downtime activities over combat and dungeon delving, although those are certainly present and a part of play. This game will encourage players to create a stable of characters of different classes and levels that can be sent on various missions, errands, and tasks, and the rules will support that style of play. These rules, like many older style games, are dangerous to incautious characters and reward stealth, trickery, and clever thinking. I've got a clever plan, me lord. Over constantly getting into fights. Fights are dangerous and deadly, and more experience can be gained through finding treasure than defeating foes. While there are character skills, the rules seek to reward outside-of-the-box thinking and suggest that skill checks be made only rarely. The text in this book will occasionally refer to Absalom, the author's default setting. While this system is written with the setting in mind, it can easily be played in any setting. For more information, There's a free introductory populated hexes monthly issue 0, which is available from the author's website. And I would guess probably Drive Through RPG. All right, so we'll need 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 20-sided dice. And yep, we do have D100 too. So we do have the percentile. Okay, so our character creation, roll ability scores, choose a class, choose skills, knacks, and other options. Roll for hit points, record saves, your base attack bonus, etc. Buy gear, round out the character. So we have strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and charisma. You're going to roll 3d6 6 times and assign the totals to those 6 stats in order. There is no picking and choosing where your numbers are going to go. So we got our modifiers. So our score of 18 is +3. Score of 3 is -3. So those are our score modifiers. System uses Ancestry as class, and the Quick Start rules include 4 human classes: Cleric, Fighter, Magic User, and Thief. The complete rules will add additional classes for both human and non-human ancestries. So we are looking at races class, although they're not included in this book. Hit dice and levels, hit points. When starting at level 1, player characters always start with 1d4 hit points, representing their hit points at 0 level. Add this number to the past HP bubble on the character sheet. This number never changes. Oh yeah, because it's your first hit points. And then I guess you get to add your hit points from your first level class, as well as your Constitution modifier. So all characters have a base attack bonus, which is determined by their class. If a roll equal to or exceeds the target's armor class, the attack hits. Got our saving throws. They're broken up into poison/death, wands, paralysis and petrification, breath attack, as well as spells, rods, or staves. So pretty standard stuff here as far as retro clones go. We do have the difficulty class. So we do have DC checks. DC 5 is easy, 10 is average, 15 is medium, 20 is hard, 25 is very hard, and 30 is nearly impossible. Some of the classes have ability score requirements for entry. Magic user must be able to read in order to memorize their spells. So they have to have an intelligence of 9 or higher. Alignment, we've got 3: lawful, neutral, and chaotic. And then, of course, we already know that we've got our 4 core classes: Cleric, Fighter, Magic User, and Thief. And it's going to take us up to 4th level. And starting off, I guess, if you wanted, you could have 0 level characters. Maybe as part of your stable of characters. Right. So we got our Cleric. Wisdom 9 is a requirement. Max level is 14. So I wonder if that's going to be our max level all around. So they can turn undead, they can lay on hands, and they have spontaneous casting. The Cleric can spend 1 use of Channel Divinity to replace a spell they have prayed for with another spell that is on their list, in which they are able to cast, but has not been prayed for. No roll is needed. So clerics have to prepare their spells. You got the Fighter. They can dual wield. They can sword and board. Use 2-handed. So those are the fighting styles: dual wielding, 1 weapon, ranged, sword and board, and 2-handed. They get a rallying cry. Once per day, the character can use their reaction to shout words of encouragement. All allies within 30 feet of them gain a +1 bonus to hit and damage rolls, as well as morale checks. Number of rounds equal to the fighter's level. Agile Monk is popping on into chat. Welcome aboard. Kevin King says it's prettier than Holmes Basic, but can it match the Tower of Xenopos? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Tower of Xenopos. Tower of Menopause? What? Right, here we got our magic user. It doesn't get a hell of a lot of information there. We're moving right to the thief. And then, of course, the thief has all of their various different actions that they can take. You know, it's kind of funny because with the older role-playing games and some retro clones out there, people get thrown off by the thief because all of a sudden it's like, okay, so all the other characters have these things. And then the thief suddenly has, hide in shadows, climb. It's like, what are all these percentiles for? What's going on there? What's happening? So we got skills here. Alchemy, animal handling, balance, climb, deception, decipher, disable, gather information, healing, hear noise. I think that would work better as just listen. Intimidate, knowledge, language, literacy. Wouldn't that be the same? They can read all the languages they can speak, assuming they have a written form. Okay. So language means they can speak it. They may not necessarily be able to read it. We have magical engineering, persuade, ride, sleight of hand, sneak, spellcraft, spot, survival, swim, track, and use magic device. And then we also have knacks. These knacks can be selected by any character unless otherwise noted. In cases where a class's options vary from what is listed here, that difference is noted in the class entry. If a knack is restricted to a class, it will be noted in parentheses. So you can increase an ability. So I'm taking a guess as you're leveling up, you're probably going to gain knacks. So this is improving one ability score by 2 points or any 2 scores by 1. This knack can be selected at levels 4 and higher. No score can be increased above 18. Got alertness, blessed by the gods, cantrips for magic users, craft trinket for clerics and magic users, extra channeling and improved channeling for clerics, porter, so it's going to boost their encumbrance limit, prodigy, scribe scrolls, shrug it off for a fighter. Once per day, the character can negate a single attack made against them. The attack simply doesn't hit, regardless of the attack roll, and the character doesn't suffer the damage or any associated effects that come with it. You have skill mastery, skillful, toughness, and weapon specialization, which will give them a +1 bonus to hit and damage when using that weapon. We have human ancestry knacks, Duskborn, Fey-blooded. Those are 2. The only 2 that we've got there. So we got gear and gold. So all of our various different items here. So we got adventuring gear. We've got weapons. We have hirelings versus specialists versus retainers. One of the design aims of this game is to allow the players to run large groups of characters in a troop-style game. There are 3 broad classes of NPCs that can be hired. Hirelings are individuals hired on semi-permanent basis that usually travel with one or more party members. They are mercenaries. Specialists are individuals hired for a specific skill or ability who often don't travel with the party. And then retainers, who start off as NPCs, but when hired, become PCs that a player controls. It's going to give us a breakdown of them. So info about our cost of living. Then we get into our magic. So, of course, we got divine and arcane spell casting. And then we get into our spells. So it looks like we've got our arcane and divine spells just all together here. And it is in alphabetical order. As a cleric advances in level, they gain new spells simply through prayer and meditation. Magic users gain new spells either through research, see downtime activities, or by finding spell books, or by apprenticing themselves to a more powerful magic user. Magic users do not automatically gain the knowledge of new spells at a new level. So as we can see, our spell breakdowns, very short, very to the point. So as an example, we have Grease. It is arcane level 1. It's got a range of 60 feet. Area of effect is 100 square feet per 2 levels. Duration is 1 round per level. There's no save. There's no focus. The caster summons a patch of non-flammable grease that is extremely slippery. Any creature in the path, it says patch, but it should be path, right? Or trying to move through it. This includes trying to stand up, must make a saving throw versus paralysis. Those failing fall prone. The creature that is running through the grease makes the save with disadvantage. So we do have disadvantage and advantage. A character with a balance skill can stay upright when moving through it with a DC 15 half speed, DC 18 full speed, or DC 21 running check. So it looks like we've got about 25 spells or so, maybe 30 spells in total. So we got our adventuring. So talking about our timekeeping, we have instant. We have a round, which is roughly 10 seconds, a minute, 6 rounds, a turn is 10 minutes, and so forth. Things doing a turn. Travel at the player character's exploration rate while mapping. Find hidden features within a 10 by 10 section. Stand guard. Force open a stuck or mechanically locked door. Forcing it faster requires a DC 13 strength check. Fighting. Although most fights are over in a matter of rounds, for bookkeeping purposes, assume each fight takes 1 full turn. This allows time for rest, bandage wounds, searching the dead, etc., etc. Harvesting monster parts. Picking a lock, disabling a trap, etc. So we've got our movement, exploration speed, combat speed, overland travel, and so forth. Got the adventuring day. It's assumed that the adventuring day is 8 hours long. Characters need 8 hours of sleep per night. If interrupted, spellcasters need a total of 12 hours of sleep. If a character exerts themselves for more than 8 hours in a day, they become exhausted. Maximum number of hours a character can exert themselves is 16 hours per day. Aha, here's our character sheet. Pretty straightforward here as far as the character sheet goes. Ability scores, saving throws, or skills, or feats, class abilities. Draw yourself a little picture of yourself, or your character, I should say. Armor class. Is that going to be your attack bonus? Maybe. Basic attack bonus. I bet you that's what it stands for. Hit points. There's your max hit points. HP track through your levels. Different attacks, how much gold you've got, your encumbrance. Here's your gear and your spells. So there you go. And the different actions that are available in a round. So you can move. You can run. You can stand. You can react. You can make attacks, cast a spell, right? Kind of surprised that it's laid out like this because it's like, okay, so actions, standard action. So a character can use their standard action to cast a spell, make one or more attacks at higher levels. A character may gain the multi-attack ability to interact with an object, drink a potion, light a flask of oil, get something out of their backpack, etc. Or they can use it as a second move action. So I would have thought, all of the actions would be explained here, but they kind of aren't. So we get the movement, and then we're like moving into encounters. It's not that big a deal, because I'm sure we're going to get those other actions further on in here, but that section was titled actions. So here we go, our combat. So we do 2 checks. It might be that neither occurs in a round. So we do a morale check. So if there was a morale check triggered in the previous round, this is when you're going to roll it, is at the beginning of your next round. Spellcasting declarations, moving, and then performing a standard action. Those are the 2 things that a player character can do, or any says each actor in combat, so that's NPCs as well. So we do have natural 1 and 20. So 1 is always a miss. 20 is always a hit. On a roll of natural 20, the attack also does maximum damage. Death and dying. When an NPC is reduced to 0 hit points, they are dead. Player character reduced to 0 hit points dies in a number of rounds equal to their con modifier plus 1d4 with a minimum of 1 round. Death occurs at the end of the fated round. Bum, bum, bum. So we have evasion and fleeing. So 2 pages devoted to combat. We got overland exploration. What comes next? Treasure, exploration, downtime, combat, and advancement. So we have a variety of downtime activities. We've got carousing, commissioning, glad handing. I haven't heard that term in a while. Hiring, multi-classing. Characters are not bound to a single class their entire career. At each level, they have the choice to take another level in their current class or take a level in a new class. The multi-classing downtime activity is only needed if a character takes a level in a new class. And that gives us a breakdown of that. We've got a carousing table. Hijinks ensue. So some other things that we can do is recover. So if you're in bad shape, you spend the week bedridden, can't perform any other tasks. But it says at the end of the week, they're healed from all normal injuries. We also have research, which could include identifying a magical item. And then we also have training. So we get into our referee's book, talking about experience points. And it looks like there is a starting adventure. Yes, certainly is, right here. That's kind of funny. The referee's book is this. Right. Then we get into the adventure, which is, I get it. It's still for the referee, but I thought that was kind of funny. So there is a small key dungeon here. Oh, giant rats. There you go. Come on, throw some spiders. Got up. Goblins. Yeah, it had to be goblins. Skeletons. And an owl bear. Yeah. I guess that's teach the players when to cut and run. There's a pet giant snake. See, it just happens to be a giant rattlesnake, too. Got some brigands. Got a lot going on there. And we've got a couple of, I think these are going to be NPCs. For a second, I thought maybe they were pre-gens to use, but they're not. They're NPCs. It looks like we've got a little bit of a bestiary here. No, I guess it's just giving you a breakdown of monsters overall. Got some treasure. I should also point out that Third Kingdom Games has some OSC bestiaries that are pretty cool. So if you're kind of curious about that. So Kevin King keeps talking about Xenopos. I'm going to have to look this up. I'm going to have to find out what that is. So that is a peek inside the quick start guide for Bree-YARC from Third Kingdom Games. And once again, the softcover that you see here, this is the offset version. This is $12.95. That includes the PDF over at DriveThruRPG. If you want just the standard softcover, it is $10.95. PDF is normally 95 cents, but check out the show notes or visit thegaminggang.com. Click on the article for this video, and you're going to find the special link with the discount code so you can get the PDF for free. All right. Cool. I'll do a quick review of this in the not too distant future. So, there we go. So Kevin King says that Xenopos is the introductory scenario in the Holmes set. Really? That's kind of wild. Interestingly enough, I shared my review of issue 15 of Fight On. And the focus was on the Holmes edition of Dungeons and Dragons. And there was an adventure that actually kind of fleshed out the example location from the box set. So the tower, it's the Tower of Xenopos, right? Isn't that what it's called? Because I was sitting there, I'm like, why is that name ringing a bell? You know how long it's been since I saw the Holmes book? Oh, gosh. I would think it's got to be maybe 40 years since I actually peeked at the Holmes edition. I had it. I had the white box. I did not get it. I did not get in on the ground floor on the brown box or the wooden box, but I had the white box. Yeah, I wish I had that still. Every once in a while, I think to myself, because I do have, the major AD&D first edition AD&D books, but I always kind of bounce around where it's like, wouldn't mind getting a copy of the white box. And I had even considered picking up the reprint that Wizards of the Coast did not that long ago. I should have, because on the secondary market, it's insanely priced. And of course, original white boxes in halfway decent condition are also insanely priced. But I had that. I had chainmail. I had the original chainmail. I had, of course, the Holmes edition, the Holmes box set. And then I had the AD&D, and that was it. That was it for my Dungeons and Dragons. So I pointed out before, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to watching the live streams, I've mentioned in the past that by about 1982, the gang and I were gone from D&D. So I was running Call of Cthulhu. Our friend Tim was running, trying to remember, our gang, the main gamers in our group was my best friend, Elliot Miller, who I mentioned from time to time on the show. Also, my friend Scott Weigel, who on occasion pops into chat with us. Another friend of mine, Daryl Melzer, and Tim Phelan. Those were the guys that kind of were like the core of our gaming group in high school. And I was running Call of Cthulhu. Elliot would run Star Trek, the fastest Star Trek role-playing game, and a bit of the Chaosium, like Swordbringer, Hawkmoon stuff. And then I'm trying to remember if Daryl ran anything. I think he usually just played. I think he still plays Pathfinder, actually, last I talked to him. But we had like Top Secret was a game that we played quite a bit. Behind Enemy Lines. I think Scott ran that. And I think Tim ran Top Secret, or vice versa. But, we were into everything. James Bond role playing, I ran that. Morrow Project, ran that. So a lot of stuff. But we were like, bye-bye D&D. So I guess we, at one point we were kind of like looking down our noses at the people. Oh, you only play Dungeons and Dragons. Well, we're real gamers, or I don't know. So, but yeah, it's kind of funny. So when people talk about like second edition AD&D or third edition D&D, I know a little bit, but it wasn't something that I was invested in. There you go. Kevin King points out they picked up Chaosium's Ring World a few weeks back. Yes, Larry Niven, right? Isn't it Larry Niven who wrote the Ring World stories? None of their current players have heard of it. I believe it. I easily believe that. Troy Cornelson's joining us in chat. Welcome aboard. We're getting ready to kind of wrap up here. So I got a few minutes. If anybody wants to hit me up with a question, we've kind of been doing that, wrapping up our shows this week. So everybody's kind of curious about something, fire away. I will tackle the first appropriate question that pops up. Give you a couple of moments for that. If you're tuning in a little bit late on Tuesday's show, we're going to do the Paizo preview. So as an example, we're going to take a look at the remastered edition of Dark Archive for Pathfinder 2nd edition. Also have the collected Season of Ghosts, as well as we're not going to take a look at the pocket edition of the Alien Core for Starfinder 2nd edition, because we already have a review of it. I've already shared a first look at it. But we also have the Battlecry Pawns for Pathfinder, and then we have the Alien Core tokens for Starfinder. So kind of, I guess, maybe Paizo's kind of steering towards tokens now. I don't know. All right, well, I don't see any question pop up. So, which is fine. Doesn't bother me. So I guess we shall wrap up the show for this evening. Of course, if you're watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, get a tip of the cap, because not only are you keeping me company, you're also keeping each other company when sharing the news and flipping through a book or unboxing a board game, what have you. But of course, I know a lot of folks out there, they don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out to watch any of the well over 2,300 videos here on the channel. So Kevin King asks if I'm going to review Murder in Metal City. Didn't I already review that? I could have swore I reviewed it. Either I reviewed it or maybe Sammy did the review. So, I mean, I'll tell you, I thought it was okay. That was about the extent of it, if I remember right. I thought it was fine. I mean, it was like talking like a 7 out of 10, 6.5, 7. Yeah, I could have swore I reviewed Murder in Metal City. So, don't know. You know, it's so many different reviews, so many first looks at stuff. I mean, and, you know, funny enough, I have noticed there's stuff that got sent to me years ago that just got buried somehow that I have not reviewed. So there are a few things that's kind of like, that's fine. I mean, yeah, it's from companies that I review a lot of stuff from. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I didn't review this so that company went out of business or anything like that. But I was kind of like, yeah, I could have swore I reviewed Murder in Metal City, or Sammy reviewed it. I'll be very honest. I try to, like, with Paizo Ink stuff, Sammy tends to skew more towards this. Yeah, more towards like Paizo Ink, Pathfinder, Starfinder stuff, as opposed to myself. I mean, I like it. It's fine. But I tend to be a much harsher critic when it comes to like their adventures and stuff like that. So that's why, like, Season of Ghosts, I like quite a bit, mainly because of its Asian theme and the various different, like, Asian themed monsters and stuff from like Japanese and Korean and Chinese mythology and stuff. I thought that was pretty wild. I thought it was, you know, a nice addition. But a lot of times, you know, some of the adventures that are just like completely on rails and stuff like that, she's far friendlier towards those than I am. So yes, Kevin King points out, you did review it, Jeff. My bad. I was going to say, I could have swore I reviewed it. Put me on the spot. I'm like, wait a second. I didn't review it. Yeah, I think it's like a 7 out of 10 that I gave it. Anyway. One thing I will point out, and I haven't heard anything back. So I reached out to Gooey Cube, the Lawrence at Gooey Cube, because I went through the first part of their Red Star Rising campaign, the Darkest Dream. I'm not going to review it unless he tells me to review it. And I was like, yeah, on one, okay, so just let you know. So on one hand, it was like all the handouts and the POV stuff and the player maps and stuff were like excellent. I mean, we're like 9 out of 10 if we're just looking at that. Then I got to the adventure and in some respects, the like GM booklet. And I was like, are you kidding me? Read aloud, right? Just, okay, to kick off the adventure, the read aloud is over 2 pages in length, unbroken. I'm like, what? And that's how, I mean, that was the only case where it was that much read aloud. But there were other sections where it's like a page of read aloud or like 8 paragraphs of read aloud. I was like, then all this stuff is going on and it's all supposed to be taking place in a single day, which made absolutely no sense whatsoever. All these different encounters and stuff really didn't tie too much together. It's supposed to be your like carnies almost for this carnival, but you're like Romani, and you know the populace looks down their nose at you and stuff. And I thought to myself, why would you do that? Why would you have the player characters take on that role? Because that's pretty problematic. I mean, not that they're like, oh, they're not using the G word, but still it was kind of like, really? So I let Lawrence know. I said, hey, if I go forward with a review on this, it's going to be like 5 out of 10. And it's mainly because the adventure is just awful. I said, I don't want to give you a laundry list of problems, but I mentioned 4 things, and that wasn't even all of it. So I was like, huh. So, and in a way, I feel bad because now granted, that's the only adventure release that I got. The other 3 are settings. So that could be quite different, although I think they do have adventures in them. But I did take a look at, because I want to say The Darkest Dream is like 7 years old. I think it may have been the first thing that came out from GUI Cube. And then I do have like a mini adventure that came out in like 2021. That's almost like a module. So I took a peek at that and I noticed there was far less read aloud. Some of the other things, it was in the read aloud, it was telling the characters what they felt. That is in my opinion, that's a major no-no. It was also saying that the characters were doing different things. So it's kind of like, no player agency here. What's going on? So, I mean, and the big thing is, oh, it's, you know, it's the experience. It's the adventure as an experience. And I was like, okay. So fingers crossed. I have not started digging into the setting boxes, but I have my fingers crossed that I will like them more. But yeah. So there are times when you'll see me do a first look video of something and then you never see a review of it. Now, when I say never see a review, I'm talking about like 6 months or more after you saw the first look. I'm not talking like 2 months because I have a queue of things. But if you see that, you know, it's like, oh, hey, Jeff did a first look at this a year ago. It's more than likely I did not care for it. I reached out to the publisher and said, do you want me to do the review or not? And they said, nope. I have had companies say yes. And I mean, bigger companies, I don't give that. I don't like Chaosium Inc., which is the Coast, Paizo Inc. I don't reach out to them and be like, well, you know, this is going to get like a 5 out of 10 or 5.5 out of 10. Now, I believe they can handle the criticism. Whereas smaller publishers, I say it all the time, I'm not here to take food out of anybody's mouth or money out of anybody's pocket. So, but then, you know, once in a while, I've gotten companies who are like, hey, you know what? Any publicity is good publicity, Jeff. It's like, okay, all right. So, I mean, I don't savage stuff, but you know, even with the Gooey Cube adventure, up until I got to the adventure, I'm like, man, this is really cool stuff. I love the character artwork's hit or miss. It's kind of all over the place. But the rest of it, I was like, man, and like the encounter book that they have for the most part was pretty good. Another problem I had was everything's just a big wall of text. So it's like, and you know, they've got the coil binding, which is cool, you know, so it lays flat. Problem is, good luck finding stuff you're trying to look for because it's just a big wall of text. So it's like, am I supposed to run this or am I just supposed to read all this out loud? So, yeah. So there you go. You got the review. Anyway. All right. So if you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell because it's supposed to not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube. That's if you select all notifications. It'll also let you know when I'm sharing other videos, such as tomorrow's review of The Hooded Man from Osprey Games. So stay tuned. That'll be up late tomorrow morning, maybe first thing in the afternoon, maybe around noon or so. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for our latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. Of course, enjoy the weekend coming up. I'm Jeff McAleer, and as always, I certainly hope each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.